Cool. So, welcome to everybody either watching the recording or watching live. Today, we are going to be talking about how to build your dream physique in 2026 without cutting the foods you love out ever again. Because I think everybody is a little bit worried for January. I understand that there's a lot of societal pressures. I feel like so many people right now are sitting very confused, not really knowing what to do, or at least knowing what to do, but don't know how to stick to it and feel like they're not getting as much bang for their buck. They're trying too hard and not getting the designed results they actually want. And it's a problem because the last 3 months you can do such little work. So many people preach it as well about doing such little work and getting such better results that no one actually tells you what to do. And it's more just the fact that people are just selling you the dream, right? Everyone's going to say, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do whatever you want to do it. But there's only really a few set things that you really need to dial in on. And I'm going to give you the easiest, most broken down way in this. You can call it webinar, presentation, whatever it is. Also demonstrating my knowledge in terms of saying what I talk about. But there's quite a lot in here. I'm going to move myself out of the way so I'm not blocking the slides. Also, the slides on screen is just going to be a little bit of a refresher for me. So I will go off topic from the stuff that's on the slides, but it will be worth it because it's a prompt for me to give you the right information. In terms of taking notes, writing down the actionable steps is going to be your best bet in my personal opinion. Just because I've been on a lot of these before and there's not much actionable stuff in there. Because we all know this probably isn't your first attempt losing weight. I mean, 2026, 2025, 2024, I've been there. I've been training 3 years. It feels like all the time you want to lose weight, right? Like that's the main thing. It's easy bulking up and well, building muscle is probably quite difficult as well, but losing weight solely, like you can lose weight and pretty easily, but losing fat is the problem that people struggle with. And if you tried before and struggled, I just want to know that it's not your fault because it has been a problem for hundreds of years, going back wherever else. Of course, obesity wasn't as present 100, 200 years ago, but as marketing increases and obviously the overall business expansion increases, selling foods that are probably not good for you, that just naturally is going to make it a lot more difficult to lose weight, especially with the increase of different jobs, increase of different environments. But the truth is, information overload is what is going to keep people, every single person, from seeing real results. The reason why I think the biggest objection from me going to help somebody is that they say, oh, whatever I give to them, they can find on the internet, or whatever I say, oh, you've already found on the internet. But like, there's so many people that get information from the internet and just don't do anything with it, or they don't question it, or they don't hear both sides of the story. They ever hear one and go all in, and that's just the assumption. I'm gonna take this off. I know also for the people on the Instagram live, I'm looking at the computer, but if you comment, you can get the link to Zoom. The truth is, information overload. I've already read that. I'm already losing it. It's not a lack of willpower or genetics. It's because you're just not, or just because you're not built for it. So many people think they're not built for losing weight, but I feel like it's the complete opposite. I think you can be so much for more, and it's just about building the mental discipline in terms of feeling hunger. Like I'm sat here in a calorie deficit now, and it's not about the fact that you're not going to feel hungry or you can abstain from hunger completely. It's building up the mental strength to sit there kind of in the trenches and know you're hungry. But since you know you don't have to eat when you're hungry, it's going to be the best possible position to be in because realistically, when you're losing 10, 15 kilograms, it's not just losing weight for 12 weeks. It's a completely different lifestyle change. You can lose that weight and instantly put it back on in 10 weeks. Like, I've done it myself in terms of a holiday. Everyone's been on an all-inclusive holiday and gained like 20 kg and okay, that's a bit extreme. Maybe 5 kg in a week. But the thing is obviously gaining weight and gaining fat, completely different things, which is going to be exploited in this presentation. Also, just move myself out of the way so we don't block any screens. You simply haven't been given a clear, proven path that fits your real life. And that's the thing, is that no matter what happens or no matter what you see on the internet, that's why it's so important to get so many different aspects of different routes, different paths, because there's going to be one that you do and it just clicks. It just works. Whether it's like you try a different diet and it just clicks for you. So you try a different training plan, you enjoy it. You actually enjoy going to the gym or enjoy exercising, whatever it is, that is going to be the biggest thing in my personal opinion. I'm blocking the title again. And kind of touching on this on the last bit is that the people actually want you to fail. Like they succeed on you failing, right? Whatever struggles you go through, they benefit off this. I talk about this in a little bit on my page actually. What I was going to do is I'm gonna still screen share, but can I add something to the the resources? No, I can't. It's fine. I'll do that later. But yeah, it's because you're probably right in terms of the fitness industry wanting you to fail because big food companies, supplement brands, and even certain coaching businesses profit. What I find ridiculous, though, and I want you guys to maybe put a one in the chat if you agree with this. If if you sign up with a coach and you are with them for more than 6 months, what is the coach doing other than holding your hand and being accountable? Don't get me wrong, if you pay someone to continually show up or like you pay them to get a result or stay accountable, but if they can't teach you how to do it on your own within 3 to 6 months, I feel like they're not doing their job as a coach. You can still pay someone to help you out, but you should know everything you need to know within 3 to 6 months in fitness from a coach. Any longer than that, I don't understand unless they genuinely enjoy coaching, unless they've got a big goal coming up or continuously set big goals. Because like I'm here to solve a problem, and that problem is going to be solved hopefully within 3 to 6 months, depending on how big your goal is, of course. And of course, I'm not here to keep you stuck. I'm here because I actually care about your success. I want you to win. And I mention that every single time is that I only win when you do, because I literally have a guarantee. I'll talk about that later, actually. I don't want to spoil it. But if you do not get results, like I don't get results or I don't win, like I don't profit off that. And maybe some of these sound familiar. Is it why is this so complicated? Why does everything feel like a trap? Why hasn't anyone shown me a clear path? Fitness will always be complicated for the people that do not want to put in the effort or do not care because it's easy to care about the wrong stuff. It's easy to sweat the small stuff and not care about the big picture. And it's if you build the foundations, then you can start sweating the small stuff, in my personal opinion. Because without it, it just is a little bit dead, in my personal opinion. If you don't have the main overall body of it, then I feel like there's not much to do with that. I'm going to see. I still can't really see if I can block that out. It's all good. Once you learn the right method, obviously it's pretty simple. And maybe you've been there, you don't need to starve yourself, you don't need to train like a bodybuilder, you don't need to give up your social life. Of course, I like to think that building muscle and if you are in the gym, you are technically bodybuilding just at a lower level. I know it sounds scary, of course, but when you are going to be training in the gym, you're wanting to push your body to failure. You're wanting to give your body a reason to grow muscle. And the reason you have the physique that you're probably not happy with is not because of an overload in fat mass, it's a lack of muscle mass. Because you could have the exact same body fat percentage now, but if you had 10 pounds of muscle plus, you would you would look at your physique and see a visible change. And it wouldn't you would no longer it's no longer like fat mass, but more just kind of bulky is the right word. And you're healthier with muscle as well, which is another thing that can be talked about later in the presentation. I need to keep a track of the time as well, so I don't can I have a timer on screen? Is that oh, I've got a timer on my phone, that's all good. Okay. And I want to say that's my job because whatever the dream is possible. Every single piece of content that I show you, whether it's the free post today on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube, longs, this free webinar, coaching, whatever it is, every single post. is solving a problem. When you think of it like this, there's going to be so many different problems that you need to solve, but it's individually taking each one and solving that without overloading yourself. Because the moment you try to do everything at once, you do not want to do anymore and you give up. And that's just the way life works. Because I've done that myself. I've tried to do everything at once and you end up just completely overeating. Let me get a quick water break. But I will be showing you how to achieve it. And today I'm going to give you the tools, the clarity, the plan to finally take back control of your body and life. My goal for you, I don't know why I've changed the background yet, but looks a little bit cool. My goal for the webinar is that the only realistic way to, I say get lean, I say drop body fat or look better without obsessing over food and training, is training your hunger. Because to lose weight, everyone knows you got to be in a calorie deficit. I feel like we've heard that so many times. I'm not using this webinar to do it. However, what people don't tell you is that you're going to be slightly hungry. You are naturally, say your maintenance is here. I realize the blur background. Say your maintenance here, calorie deficit here. Naturally, there's a gap there that your body has to make up from somewhere, and it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. But with training your hunger, you no longer feel that much more uncomfortable because you understand that when the hunger comes, you won't die, basically. Like you're gonna be fine. And that's why I say the fastest, simplest path to fat loss for beginners and experienced lifters is fasting. I know that might put a lot of people off. However, I'm going to explain why it's useful and also how it allows you to eat the foods that you still want to eat as well, just having training your hunger. Because knowing when to eat and knowing if you are actually hungry or if you're just bored is going to be a main hitter in the webinar today. Um, I was a bit somebody just commented on the live, I was a bit late. Can you give me the context of the yap? Yeah, that's just not very nice, is it? I'm currently on a webinar, so I'm doing a live Zoom. But yeah, that's peak. Oh well, it is what it is. Game's the game. I guess I am yapping a little bit, but if you see the slides, it makes sense. Quick backstory. If you don't know who I am and you're sitting on the live or the Zoom, then I apologize that you do not know who I am. I probably should explain this a lot earlier on. But yeah, this was me 3 years ago now. Started September 2022. Yeah. No. Yeah. 3 years ago, September 22. And that's when I started my gym journey, right? And as you can see, the thing is, I'm skinny here, but my body fat is still high. I'm skinny, but I don't have abs. And that's the key, is that the reason I look like this is not because I've got too much fat, it's because I've got a lack of muscle for my overall body mass. And the goal was to have sufficient muscle mass for your body. Of course, I'm still not lean here, but since I've got sufficient muscle, obviously on arms, the chest, it looks significantly different. Just looking at that, like there's not much not that much weight between the photos. It's about 8 kg, and you could lose that within 8 weeks. So, however, my story is that I've tried everything in the book. I say that as a joke, but I actually have in terms of bulking up like crazy, getting up to 88 kilograms, being completely overweight. I say overweight, but just round. Like my face was huge, puffy. And then I cut all the way back down to 75, which was in this photo. This was last year. So, by definition, I probably put on a decent amount of mass from that. I'm a little bit heavier now, though, as it was a photo shoot. But yeah, what fasting did for me was just teach me that you can be hungry and still get the results you want. Although it's going to be uncomfortable, but you can actually utilize the feeling of hunger in other areas. Like you can be hungry and then dial into your work, or you can be hungry and use that to fuel your relationships in your life, or you can use that to keep busy and understand. It's almost like meditating in your mind. Like you can hear it in your head, you know you're hungry, but you can kind of just sit with it and understand it's not as bad as it seems, which seems a little bit weird, I know. But like I said, I'm going to touch on that later. Um, I was gonna say if there's any other backstories in terms of questions and stuff, you can drop them in the chat. But I need to I was gonna say put a four in the chat if you're still following along and you're still listening. Of course, I know some people are going to be hearing this, maybe put it on the background when they're cooking or something. But I'm just gonna be keep doing that just so you guys can follow along. But what does this mean for you? You might not have changed your whole environment or spent years lifting with no progress. I moved to uni, and that was the big environment shift. I spent most of my days playing video games, 8 to 10 hours a day, not even joking, not eating, probably 2 meals a day. And that's just because my environment, I was up in the middle of nowhere in Elgin. If anyone knows where that is, you can let me know in the chat. In the Highlands in Scotland. So yeah, not much to do, especially if you cannot drive, which I didn't at the time. I can now. I do have a car. I got that a couple of days ago, which is nice. Uh, some benefits there. But yeah, also not knowing is not really the exercise choice, lifting with no progress. It's about how you train and how hard you train as well, because people always tell you need to train hard, train close to failure. But if you do not simplify that in a way that you guys can understand, like gym bros understand it, but pushing to failure is scary, like because you feel like there's an injury risk there, you feel like there's something wrong, and you feel like something bad could happen, especially if you're new to the gym. It's just about building experience. But fasting still applies because everyone fasts. Now, this is going to be a bit of a, I think this is going to be the first, what's it like the first mindset shift that we're going to get today. And we're already 20 minutes in. But I mean, we already had a couple few, but this is going to be the big one. This was the big one for me is that from breakfast to lunch, whether you eat your breakfast at 9 in the morning, you eat your lunch at 1, you are fasting for 3 hours. You are already not eating for that time. Unless you snack, or if you are somebody who snacks very often between those two meals, then you have not built. It's almost like a skill, right? You are training your body not to eat when you're hungry, and the less you snack and the less not the less meals you have, but like the less your meals are spaced out, or the less like the smaller your eating window is, you can understand that you can eat as much as you like. I say obviously within calorie deficit range is going to be I don't know how you managed to draw on the screen there. I don't actually. Maybe I don't know how to turn that off. I'm not gonna lie. But the time between breakfast and lunch is a fast. And I'm also suggesting you can just extend that gap slightly. So your body still has the time to burn fat and reset. It's also a digestion tool. It's not eating. It allows your body to reset and feel good. And it's not just about constantly giving you fuel because you give everything else a rest, whether it's your central nervous system when you sleep, your eyes, your brain, just your entire body. However, you are not you are not what's the words I'm looking for? You are not giving your digestive system a rest other the time when you're sleeping, and even then it's only 9 hours you are giving a rest there. um let me see if the let me click the chats. Can you go over high protein diets and issues with the loo? Depends, is it a one or a two? With the toilet, high protein diets I think are great, but however, of course, in terms of the split between protein, carbs, and fats, it doesn't really matter too much. Of course, eating enough protein for muscle growth and muscle retention is super important. But then the split between carbs and fats has been adjusted from zero fats a day to zero carbs a day. And it doesn't really, I think the science and the actual experiments have not been seen to have any difference. Like you can have zero carbs and still feel okay. You can have zero fats and still feel okay. Of course, there's different things, but the main thing that matters the most is protein, and the split of the other two just it basically means whatever like you have to kind of try that for yourself. Like I have around the same amount of fats I do carbs, which means I have quite low carb. But yeah, it just works for me. I do enjoy carbs, but for me, when I'm losing fat, I just feel more full on fats. But yeah, we'll move on. That's like permanently on there. I don't really know how to sorry, I've just skipped the slide there. But why it's better is that most people try to lose weight by tracking calories, and although this works, people know that they're going to be hungry. They start to obsess over the numbers, and if you are somebody who normally obsesses over the numbers with like the scale weight, the tracking calories, it can be quite difficult to stick to that. I can work on calorie tracking, but everyone says to track your calories, and realistically, people don't track it with the intent they need to. They can track their meals, but they won't track their snacks, or they feel like it's obsessive, and then that's how they don't stick to it. Because at night they get starving, break plan, and restart again. Because they never learned how to handle hunger while fasting, your body will adapt. Fat loss becomes easier plus sustainable. So one of the main things I tested out, and don't get me wrong, I want to be clear, you do not have to fast forever. I used to eat between, I would say 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., which is weird, a weird window. Um, if you think that's weird, put a free in the chat because it is a little bit strange, right? But it just meant that in my head when it got to nighttime, I was almost breaking an oath. I was breaking my fast, and in my head, it's like you almost cannot do that. It almost feels illegal, right? There's almost something else on the line. There's a social pact. And of course, you need to manage it because if you're going out for the meal, if you're going out for dinner, then you obviously still have your dinner, right? But even like, for example, on the day, like for example, Monday to Friday, you can try it out, see how it works for you, and then see how different it is compared to the weekends, because that is going to be the most important. Yeah, I need to get moving because how many slides have I got here? I think I've got about 7, 8. But yeah, I wanted to say it's not just for me as well. Of course, we have many people on this webinar, or a lot of people that are on the email list will know about this, the free training of Davey, who lost 5 kg in 45 days, who worked many different nights. He worked from, I think it was, I don't really know the time he started, like 5 or 6 p.m. And he worked until like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. And he only trained twice a week as well. And he made this progress in 45 days. Just simply knowing when to eat and when not to eat and having an idea about his window and his eating window. And that just learned that he could be hungry and still get the results as well as training hard in the gym, as you can see. Big muscle development there in the chest, especially in the abs too. And I also wanted you guys to, obviously you can't copy that link now, but you could type that into your browser, or you could just go on Instagram and go to my highlights, and you can see every single result. These have actually changed now. I put these into 2025 Q1, Q2, Q3 for the quarters of the year. But you can head to my Instagram and look at the highlights and scroll through everybody that I've kind of helped out or has worked with me. And of course, not everybody is going to, I'm not saying the system works for everybody. Not everybody works on the same system. But the whole thing with coaching is that we try different systems and we understand which one works for you. This is not just a ploy for coaching, but the whole thing is people think they're signing up with a coach because they're getting given their plan, or they're getting their knowledge, or they're getting taught their information. You are getting taught the information at a level that you can understand it and you can use it to adapt to. Like, I'm not going to give a gym beginner, somebody who's like a 6-year-old woman, I'm not giving her bench press in her program, right? Like, if she's never lifted a weight in her life, we are probably not going to use dumbbells or barbells initially. We can use body weight, we can work our way into it, and that's the important thing. And you can see that from those results and the people that I've worked with, either for paid or for free, because obviously when I started off, it was free because I wasn't as good as I am now. Not to brag, but of course with supply and demand, that's just how it works. And I also, this page is a little bit dead down, not gonna lie. But yeah, we have MMA transformations, which is Muscular Mastery Academy transformations, which that is just all the results on one page, basically the same as his highlights. But yeah, we're not gonna bang on about that because we're not we're not gonna show in the the account. But yeah, the three secrets we're going to talk about today, as well as the fasting one that we just went over, is that we're going to talk about fat loss hacking, how you can eat more to lose more. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? I know, but trust me, it is the case. Secret two, how you can clone a proven fasting strategy that builds mental strength and discipline. And secret three, how to make progress, stay consistent, all during the busiest times of year. I think that one is going to be the biggest here. I need to make sure my mic hasn't fallen off because if it has, then the audio for the Zoom is not going to be ideal. But yeah, let's dive into secret number one, which is going to be eating more to lose more. And a lot of people, there's so many videos online now where it's talking about you'll see the two different it's like two different characters, right? I see them all the time, two different characters where it's like, oh, I'm eating this small salad and somebody else is eating an ice cream and they're like, oh, the salad's actually got more calories in the ice cream because of the dressing. Or it's like you don't know how many calories is in the food because they make it. If you've seen some of those videos, I know I was gonna say put a two in the Zoom chat if you've seen this type of videos where it's like they compare two different things in terms of volume, whether it's Instagram Reels, YouTube. I know David Banks Nutrition on YouTube Shorts. I don't know if you guys have seen his, but he does it all the time where he does fast food places. He compares like a McDonald's meal to a burger, no, two McDonald's meals. One looks a lot more volume, but it's less calories. And the thing is simply that there's no extreme restriction there because when you make up your diet of 80% foods, 80-20% of foods that are completely whole, and a lot of people ask me, what type of foods should be eating? And it's mostly the foods that are going to be going off quickly. And I know it's difficult, but it's the foods that go off quickly. It's like the meat, the eggs, the beef, chicken. Obviously the proteins are good, but even like the sweet potato, if you can find foods that have one ingredient in them, they are going to be the most nutrient dense for the amount of calories that they have. Because if you grab a packet of, I don't want to demonize any foods here, but if you grab like, um, what can I demonize here that I think is not ideal? I don't want again, I don't want to demonize any foods, but if you look at any of your favorite foods, sadly, you're going to look at the ingredient list and there's going to be 500 million different things. And that's just normal. When you have 500 different million things that are going to not give you the nutrients, you're not going to feel as full because your body it doesn't have the right fuel to go on. Imagine like your car is getting filled up with water instead of petrol, or like you're giving your body the right gas, the right petrol to actually function. And it's like the common saying where it's macronutrients determine your body composition, calories will determine your weight, and micronutrients will determine how you feel. Um, uh, we'll go, I'll have a quick question break because I see a question come in there. Um, do you have a segment on how to deal with bullies at the gym? There's a gay at my gym. He's always doing the same workout next to me, but adds 5 kg to each side. He also called me skinny and I smell. Interesting. I think in my advice for bullies or people that are dragging you down is that you will never get dragged down from somebody who's ahead of you. Simple as that. Sorry, I mean guy. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I'm gonna get demonetized on YouTube for this recording, but it's fine. Yeah. I would just say you're not gonna get hate from anybody who's above you because every single person, if you are polite about it, they're going to help you out. Like they are going to give you advice from what works for them. They're going to give you like they're gonna be super helpful. The gym is a great community and a lot of people are also in there for themselves. Like 90%, like if you walk into the gym today, like 6 p.m. January, oh, obviously Sunday, it's not bad, but like Monday tomorrow, everyone's got their headphones on, everyone's locked in. No one cares about what you are doing. And if they do, they're not ahead of you, or they're just trying to drag you down to where they are because they find a sense of enjoyment about that. And if they find a sense of enjoyment about dragging you down, then obviously their life's not going that much well, is it? Like, yeah, we're going off on a tangent, but let's get back to it. Yeah, no endless cardio. I think this is a big one because cardio should be one of the last things you look at in terms of it should be 80% nutrition, 90% nutrition, and then you can do cardio to add it as an extra. When I go for a run or do cardio, I am not doing that to eat more. I'm not doing that to to eat more calories after the day, right? I'm doing that because it helps with my digestion and I enjoy it. I know it's weird, but I feel good after I go for a run, right? No one feels good during the run, but they feel good after. And that's just extra. That's just extra work. And also, I'm training for something later in the year, which you can maybe guess what that is. But yeah, no waiting until you feel motivated as well, until you're motivated. Oh no, that's correct grammar. I thought that was wrong. I've completely forgot to say at the start. There's probably going to be some pretty poor grammar in this presentation. Again, I'm a fitness coach, not an English teacher. But of course. This is kind of touching on the secret number three about the discipline thing that I'm going to be talking about because yeah, motivation comes and goes, and by definition, on average, like you don't get motivated, you just keep doing it until you enjoy it. Because by definition, you have your average, and above that, you're gonna have your good days, and below that, you're gonna have your bad days. And that's by definition of like average. Like I have my bad days. However, if you look at my bad day, it might not seem as bad as somebody else's, or your good day might be someone else's bad day. And I think that's important to know because you're gonna walk into the gym, you could throw up, you could bicep curl 5 kg, but someone can't even pick up the weight. So like, and you think that's a bad day, right? So it's all perspective on what you are doing. And that's why it's so important to not focus on anyone else and just your own progress. As difficult as that is, it's one of those things. That pen is oh, here we go. Wait, I've got the drawn sentence. Can I how do I can I get an eraser here? Eraser, that's an American thing. Ah, here we go. Oh no, oh my God, I've highlighted the thing. How do I how do I show magic cursor? Is that the thing I'm looking for? I don't has anyone used Zoom? No, to remove the oh wait, no, the pen was surely there's gotta be an eraser button, yeah. Um that's oh my God, I've done it again. Which one is it? Highlighter. Is it this one? Ah, there we go. Thank you. I think somebody might put it in the chat. Ain't it the pink thing? Yeah. Okay. No, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I didn't even realize you could do that until I clicked on. But yeah, we've sorted it now. That is gonna be really good for the recording, I'm sure. We can now. How do I just get back off the pen bit and just go back to the regular? Yeah, that'll do. Um, is that okay? No, because now it's not. There we go. Okay, we're good. Get that off screen. So. I wanted to go through some myths and truths about this too, because there's going to be different comparisons of what you believe, and also I want to illustrate my knowledge of knowing what you think, because not only have I done it myself, but I've also helped people that are probably in your position as well right now, and what you are currently thinking, like being here. Fat loss does not mean require suffering; it means strategy and consistency, because fat loss is going to be temporary. Like it's going to be you're going naturally by law of definition, like I said, you're going to be fatter and you're going to be leaner different parts of the year. And it's knowing it's having strategy. Like for summer, you've got a holiday coming up. Give yourself 3 months to get leaner, and then you can kind of go into a muscle building phase because muscle mass is the important thing. Muscle mass is forever, but fat loss is temporary. So if you focus on muscle mass and constantly building up more and more muscle, you are going to look better at your current body weight. So it's a lot easier to build muscle than to lose fat. I know it's kind of shifting your mindset again, but that's the goal you're looking for because you can be your current weight. You don't have to lose any weight. If you built up some muscle mass, you would look significantly different and feel significantly healthier in your everyday life just from changing your habits. Because being 10% body fat or being lean isn't going to prevent you from not having any muscle and not being able to stand up on your own, or when you're 60 you can't stand up off a chair, or you can walk down the stairs because your knees are going. That's the thing that you got to focus on. I need to go all in, small sustainable habits. I think if you've followed my page for a while or just anything on YouTube or anything like that, I preach 1% gains all the time, every single time. And I'll fail because I love food. You lose fat while eating the foods you enjoy. That thing keeps popping up, and I don't really know. It's fine. We can go off. And I wanted to talk about this is also Davey or Dave. He's actually my uncle. Yeah, he came to me not too long ago. Well, a couple of months back actually. I was working with him for about 8 or 9 months, and this is some pretty good pro. The obviously the photo quality is not great, but you can obviously see the visual definition from the muscle mass when he came to me. He had been working out for ages as well. Like he's probably been working out before I was even born. In terms of it's obviously been on and off, of course. But it just shows you that you can be training for a long amount of time with no structure, and then the second you get structure, you can start to see visual definition in your abs, muscle mass, depending on your training techniques and your actual ideas of how you look at it. Because there'll be people kind of 40 plus in the shape of their lives, but then say they've been training for half the time because they don't see it as noble. They don't think it is they don't think it's as good. Yeah, I'm not sure on his age here. I think he's if I I probably should know his age. I think he's around the same age my dad, which is about 59 or 60. No, he's not 60. He's definitely not 60. I think 55. I think he's younger. But yeah, it just shows you that a lot of people are younger than 55 or even older than 55, but it's never too late, especially if you've been training for a while. How quickly you can make a turnaround here is pretty insane. Um, but yeah, that's all it takes with coaching and accountability and structure, and that can definitely help out a lot of different people, especially if you have a big goal that you want to achieve, or at least have somebody help you set a big goal, because maybe you don't really know what you're doing. Even just asking somebody about your current situation, where you want to go to, and setting a smart goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and a time frame. So instead of saying you want to drop, actually, well, you want to lose fat, you should say that you want to drop 5% body fat in the next 10 weeks. And you can see that visually on your photos. You can measure it with a scale. Is it achievable? I mean, 5% in 10 weeks is actually quite a lot. But I mean, obviously, depending on how much work you put in, I think it's achievable. It is going to be difficult, but is it realistic for a lot of people? That's the question that you got to ask yourself when you're setting a smart goal. And I just want to say how crazy, because isn't it insane that you can actually lose weight by eating more and building more muscle? Because you can eat less calories and lose weight, but eat more nutrients based on the foods that you choose. So, for example, you could eat double the amount of food you are currently eating now and get double the amount of nutrients and just feel overall better about your performance in the gym. That's one thing that I find mad. All right, moving on to secret two, how to call in a proven fasting strategy. Kind of what I touched on in the beginning, that builds some mental strength and discipline, which is what I have used myself. So my turning point is that I relied on motivation, quit when the challenges hit, and felt weak and inconsistent. Fasting builds identity equals a disciplined man. I completely forgot for the people that joined the start or maybe didn't hear the update as well. I'm going on till 7:30, but there'll be time for questions and stuff at the end, so it's all good. Time for questions as well as anything that they've got planned. The myth is that discipline is a personality trait. It's a skill you train, and again, this is going to be touched on the secret three. Waiting for motivation, building consistency through structure. Like I said, when you have the plans in place, you kind of just wake up and know what you're going to do. It's a much easier to be able to do something when you wake up and just know exactly what you want to do. Instead of just thinking, oh, what am I going to do today? I kind of want to do this. I don't really want to do that. You are instantly finding more and more different ways to make it difficult and more ways to put it off and overall just not want to do it. You want to have a plan in place. And I know a lot of people say they don't have a plan for the gym. They kind of just go in and do whatever. But that's the people that spin their wheels for a while or don't see much results. Because you can go to the gym just for the mental benefits or just feeling good about training. But if you actually want to see progress in fat loss or muscle gain, you kind of have to have an idea of what you want to do in the gym and how like what you are going to complete in that workout to make it a success. Like what are you doing in the gym and what would make the gym session look like a success than just going? That's the main thing. Fasting equals starvation. It is controlled challenge is the main thing. Like I said before, is that not eating over a certain amount of time, there's gonna be um I was gonna say the hunger hormones as well. Is I don't know if you guys have heard of greptin. Uh, no, not greptin. I combined the two there. Ghrelin and leptin, which is the two hunger hormones. If you have heard of them, put a five in the Zoom chat just to see you still paying attention. But or if you haven't heard of them, just put a five because for the people that are still here. But yeah, so basically you have ghrelin, which is, I'm going to use the car analogy here again. It's basically if you put fuel in your car, ghrelin is the hormone that tells you that tells the car that it's had too much or it's had enough. So it's like the feeling of fullness. So obviously if you have not trained your ghrelin, then you will not realize that you're full and you can overeat. So that is like the point, the top point that's telling you not to eat. And I think leptin, I might have got these two the other way around, but leptin's the opposite, where it's like where you have no fuel left in the car and your car is beeping like we need food or we need fuel. And by fasting, you are controlling these two hormones, knowing that you can kind of be in the middle or you can have low and you can still be fine. You can still get on with the rest of your day. And these also, if you've ever been hungry at work, let's say you're working a 9 to 5 and you get hungry at lunch, but you haven't got anything prepared, and then you kind of just go back into work and you're hungry at work for the time you usually eat, but then by 5 p.m. or like during the work hours, you're no longer hungry. Because it's like if you miss your eating window, you just go back to regular, right? It's weird. I know a lot of people relate to that as well. But yeah, results confidence, challenge confidence, results. I'm kind of blocking the screen again because I don't really know. Zoom in and out. Wait, I think that's Canva actually. Now that I think about it. I've just zoomed in. What a bozo. Um, yeah, there we go. We're off it now. Yeah, Lewis as well. I know I'm going off a lot of different testimonials here, but Lewis was somebody who didn't really understand the feeling of hunger, and he's also at uni as well, so it was more just kind of quick grab and go stuff. But when you don't get the grab and go stuff, because that ultimately makes you more hungry. For example, if you're going into lunch, kind of buying the store-bought stuff, it's almost designed to make you hungry later in the day, and then that just causes you to overeat. So I'm not saying to constantly eat when you're out and about, but if you know you have good food at home and you know you have food prepared already for you, then you can wait and know that you can just eat more later on. And if you're staying focused on other stuff and knowing that you do not have to eat when you're out and about, you don't have to eat at these set times, it allows you just to feel a lot more content where you're currently at because I'm sure we've had those days where we've just been super busy all day and haven't ate until 5 p.m., 6 p.m. I know it's not ideal, but you've done it, right? Like you've done it before, and at the time it felt pretty difficult, but you probably don't even remember how you felt. And if you train that and understand it, then it makes it easier overall, so that when you go back to your regular eating, you can kind of understand, am I really hungry or am I just bored? And this transformation as well, very similar physique to a lot of different people that might have clicked on the YouTube or the the live stream, whatever it is, because I mean this is like the classic uni physique, right? And of course, on the right is a picture significantly more muscle mass, dropped body fat, especially in the chest as well. But again, another pretty crazy transformation in terms of overall body fat percentage. And that's just all from learning that being hungry does not mean you need to eat. Um, yeah, and everyone fasts. How crazy. Everyone fasts. They just don't do it long enough to see results. I think a 16, like I said, the one that you can copy at the start, the cloning the proven strategy, is the 16-hour fasting window and 8-hour eating window. So what I mean by that is, for example, a 6 a.m. eating window to 2 p.m. and then fasting from 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. the next day, you're gonna be completely fine, right? Like in terms of your hunger is going to go up and down. And the important thing is probably around whatever time you have your dinner is going to go up, but then behind that is going to go lower again. And the thing why this works and why it works for a lot of people, obviously you have to try it for yourself. I'm not going to just say it exactly. It's worked for me, is that if you give yourself an 8 hour eating window, if you want to eat all the desired food you want to eat in that window, it makes it a lot more difficult than it would naturally, right? It does make it significantly difficult to, like, for example, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this window. And that's what makes it good, I feel. Because you can still eat the food you want to, just understanding that your body can have that time to digest. Because I think this is the perfect time where it gives your body enough time to digest all the food and not suffer as much consequences as before. Um, I came off the E-Man's live. It's glitching a lot. Um, I don't really know. Is that Instagram live or not sure? Either way, you would have been sent the link to join. Um, Secret Free, and this is my favorite one, I think, because I think no matter what happens, if you can master the discipline and how to make progress, stay consistent during all the busiest times of the year, especially throughout 2026, as long as you stay disciplined at getting better and making small steps, it makes it significantly easier to be amazing and in a much better position in 2027. Um, which is going to be big. And just depending on where you're currently at. And I said, is it possible? Because I used to fall off whenever life got busy. I had uni, work, deadlines. I made it a lot more difficult for myself. I definitely balanced many different plates, but I think I always told myself that pressure is a privilege. Like the more stuff you have, the more pressure you face. And I feel the same with this. I have a desk job and my boss says I can't get too big. Could intimidate customers. Is a way to get stronger but lean. I don't think it could intimidate customers. Like you can build muscle mass and stay at a relatively lean body fat percentage in terms of like you could have muscle mass but still be small or like still be lean. And that just like you like your boss probably assumes it's like bodybuilder level, right? But we're not talking about that. We're just talking about being in shape. That's not going to intimidate customers. That's going to make customers look at you in a better light, in my opinion. I thought I needed the perfect routine or loads of time to make progress. The epiphany was realizing that you do not need more time. You just need a system that works, especially when your life is chaotic. And I want to talk about the system in the next bit. I've already talked about it on Instagram before, I know, and I don't know, but I kind of want to touch on this and expand on it a little bit more now, which is the discipline equation. So. If you guys have heard of Stephen Bartlett, you can put a the Diary of a CEO. You can put a six in the Zoom chat because this is an idea that I got from him and his book. But I wanted to give this an expansion onto fitness and also other things I want to talk about as well. Which that discipline equals the value of the goal plus the reward of the pursuit minus the cost of the pursuit. So what do I mean by this? In terms of the fitness example. No, I need another drink actually. My throat's getting a bit dry. But of course, this is the only three things that matter in life when it comes to staying disciplined at anything. And you can almost think of it as like these two divided by the cost of pursuit and which one outweighs the other. But if we look at it at a fitness example or like wanting to hit the gym, for example, like why do we want to stay disciplined at hitting the gym? What is the value overall of hitting the gym? Well, you're healthier, you're stronger, you have more muscle mass, you feel better, you're more confident, whatever it is. There's a lot of different things, and that's going to be different for everyone. So the value is going to be different for a lot of people of how you perceive the value of the goal. And that's why a lot of people say if you don't want it bad enough, then you're not going to get it. Or if it's not like a massive thing that you really want to get, then it's like you don't understand the value as much as you could. However, this is where a lot of people get tripped up on is the reward of the pursuit. how psychologically rewarding is actually doing the pursuit of going to the gym. Like the value's cool, getting stronger, but staying disciplined to hit a workout or if you're just being healthier, go for a run or eating healthier, that's the thing that people get tripped up on. And then I'm going to go back to how you can make that more psychologically rewarding. And then finally, we have the cost of the pursuit. So what does it actually cost to hit the gym? Well, your time, your money for a gym membership, the commute to the gym, maybe more time. Maybe you feel tired after the gym, maybe it's more fatiguing. Uh, you guys can put your own ones in the Zoom chat because I know the cost of going to the gym, whether it's like you've got other commitments, you've got family, it's difficult, right? There's a big cost, and a lot of people just say they don't have the time or they don't have the priorities or they don't feel like it's right for them. But this is how we can stay more disciplined. So, the fitness example, how can we increase the perceived value of the goal? Uh, I was going to ask a question there, but I think I'll break it down because how can we increase the value of feeling happier, healthier, stronger? Well, instead of just kind of having the physical, you can look at the mental side as well. In terms of how does it regulate your mindset? How do you feel after the gym? How do you feel when you feel like you have more confidence because you look better, you feel better, your skin's glowing because you're eating healthier? It's how many different things that you can look into to make you perceive it as a higher thing or make you, because there's many different things that we do in our lives that have really, really high value of the goal, but these like the reward sucks and the cost sucks as well. Like if we have a strong value of why we want to do something, it's super easy to stay disciplined. But how can we make the reward of going to the gym easier? Well, one thing that you could do straight away is this could be a great thing to note down is making the gym easier or the process of the gym easier is maybe just simply shortening your workout. Maybe your workout's too long and you get really bored. Maybe just simply shortening it down. Or maybe trying a different workout style to make it more enjoyable. Maybe when you go into the gym, you could track your workout and visually see how much weight you can lift from last week, and you almost get that dopamine rush. When you see yourself lifting more weight than last week, that reward of the pursuit, you're seeing yourself visually get stronger, you're enjoying it more. You're almost gamifying the process because you're seeing yourself level up a little bit more. And I think that's super important. And like I said, how can we limit the cost? How can you take the time, maybe the commute to the gym? How can you make that lower? How can you limit the time? How can you limit the actual feeling after you complete the gym in terms of maybe you're giving yourself too hard a workout, it's difficult to recover from? Or how can you just recover better? And you can take this with any example. Like I mentioned, like if the value is strong enough, these two things, although they matter, if the value is super high, you can almost negate these and they're not as valuable. For example, like many people do not like their job, but the value of the goal and staying disciplined to working is that they get paid at the end of the month and they can pay their bills. They can buy things they want, they can do a lot of money, right? But the reward, the actual job itself, they don't enjoy it. Like there's no reward of completing a long day's work. They don't feel good after a day of work. And the cost is just a lot of time. But they get paid at the end of the month, and that's what matters. So when you think of it like that, discipline is definitely a way you can use this equation to make it easier to stay disciplined, not just to the gym, but literally anything in your life. And I want to leave you guys to sit with that one for a second. Because whatever it is you want to stay disciplined to, you can continually get 1% better every single day. And that's the important thing with that. Move on. So the myths versus truths again. I need to stay more consistent. You need to make fewer decisions, not more time. You need fewer decisions. Sorry, you need less things to focus on. More dialed in, basically. Busy seasons may not fall off. Busy seasons expose weak systems and reward simple ones. So it's important that having those three pillars and understanding how you can increase the first two, decrease the last one, and that will make it easier to stay disciplined to what you want to do. And I must be perfect every day. Consistency is just doing the basics, even at 60 to 70%. I realize that I've put the 6-7 meme, but we're gonna leave that in 2025. Hopefully. But yeah, in terms of that, super important as well. Um, and fasting is too hard when I'm busy. It removes stress, fewer meals, planning, more focus. So with the discipline of staying fasting, it means that you do not have to, it means that you can have a set time where you're eating and then you can lock into other time and you can get into a really deep focused bit of work or really focus on the things that truly matter in terms of maybe hanging about with family or friends or just really focus on the things like it's less things to focus on is what I'm trying to say there. And then we have Josh as I don't want to say the final. I think is it the final testimony. I'm not sure. But yeah, as you can see, the weight 85 kg to 78. I'm not gonna lie, he didn't really know how to take progress photos, even though I told him he took this. I guess it's just visually better as this. Like he took this photo, even though it's more just side on. As you can see, there's significant difference in how rounded his belly was, and you can see that abs are starting to form in here. Again, you can see the size of his chest. Not much difference because he's actually maintained his muscle mass and lost the fat is the key thing there. And obviously using the discipline equation with the gym, keeping at it, and that is ultimately what led to his success, in my personal opinion. So. This is very good. Let me ask you a question. From everything that I've spoke about in maybe how long are we going? Last hour, who feels like some of these two photos on screen? If you put a one in the Zoom chat, if you feel like the stuff that I've spoken about has been a little bit overwhelming, because I know it probably has been. There's been a lot to get through in the past hour, as well as the next couple minutes as well, in the next 15 to 30 minutes. But I know because I've been on these as well. There's been a lot in terms of a lot of information, but it's important because the information helps you understand the background and the context. But yeah, it can be quite overwhelming. Luckily, there's a recording. You can listen to my lovely voice again. I don't really know how long it will be up for though, because I have to speak to the guys. But yeah. So main thing is I just want to talk about is it okay if I spend 10 minutes with you going over a very special offer to help you implement these tools and the secrets to finally drop you unwanted body fat? You can just put a yes or a no. I'm completely cool if you say no. I'll just end it here. But yeah, I want to talk about the stuff that I provide and how it actually implements those secrets and what I talk about and why it gets results. Because ultimately, I wouldn't be in a job if it didn't get results. And the reason, like, I provide, like, I'm not gonna give you sucky fluff. I'm gonna give you like all the stuff that I feel like that works. And if it doesn't work, then I don't want to have it in there to confuse you. So I'm gonna move my screen up here, and I think we're all good to go. I'm gonna take another sip. I think this is genuinely the most I've spoken like the last week. So my throat is like not killing me. But what's going on here? So this is what I want to talk about. The 12-week coaching masterclass. I think it's the perfect amount of time to set a goal within 12 weeks, hit that goal, and get some serious momentum. Like I said, I'm not here to coach you forever. I'm here to teach you the principles, the basics, the foundations, to take that and move on to the rest of the year and absolutely smash it. Of course, you can continue it after. However, I want this to be a block because I like to get as many people on the psychological, not the psychological treadmill, but I'm almost like giving you a little bit of a boost to carry on the rest of the year. And if you feel like you're ready to go on your own, I'm more than happy to step back. So I've got the present here, and I've also got the Kahuna's app, which is a coaching app that I use that has everything in one place, which I'm going to talk about later on as well, in terms of everything you get in the actual coaching masterclass when it comes to like when it comes from you know what? I'll save it for the next bit because I don't wanna get on. So, first thing. is that as well as obviously having content access to me, you are going to get set static weekly training. So I filmed all these trainings already. Like I talked about, with stuff that you can actually implement every single week. So whether you're starting the gym, whether you know what you're doing, you're going to get the fundamentals of nutrition, mindset, tutorials of everything you need to know about how to lift, the speed you need to be lifting, what you should be eating, the progress you should be making, and the overall feeling that you should be at, and also access to me as well, which I'm going to talk about. This is just the static stuff. This has already been filmed, the fundamentals that will never change. If it needs updating, I can constantly add to this as I've got the bonuses as well. Week 5 to 8, you got the training fundamentals like building muscle, intensity, weight control. I don't want to get into the confusing bits. But week 9 to 12 is going to be lifestyle. So, of course, the stuff in the gym matters, but outside factors like bonus stuff like supplements you might not know about, etc. Also like step count, it doesn't really matter, or like sleep, all that other good stuff. And you can see at the bottom, motivation, habits, bulking, sleep, downloadables, etc. Like free stuff you can download. I say free, but it's like stuff you can take from the 12-week masterclass in terms of like the recipe book that I've got, or you can have the free trainings or the free workout plans, or you're gonna get your own personalized workout program, which I'm gonna go into next as well. I want to talk about who this has actually worked for in terms of the 12-week masterclass. So all of these guys have been on the 12-week plan before, some longer than others, because my whole goal is if the coaching is good, of course, then you're gonna want to stay, right? But like I'm here to get you a result, and if you want to continue, that's my job, right? But yeah, Matthew bulked up 4 kg, Josh lost 6 kg, visually different as well in terms of the chest and the shoulders, much wider shoulders, and Ellie, I think she lost. I mean, I think she messaged me the other day. I think it was like 85 kilograms to about 71, 72. So a big difference. And of course, that proves that's not just men as well, because I know there'll be women watching this. I've coached women in the past too. I know I haven't really talked about it too much on the webinar. But yeah, this is for people who want to lose the next 12, or I want to make sure that this has a big, wide range of the people that works for, right? Um, it does work for a very strong group of people because the whole thing is that you sign up and then I'm making sure that everything I give to you is personalized to you and what you want to achieve. I'm not here just to give you a plan to help you lose 50 pounds when you only want to lose the next five. But yeah, this is for people who want to lose the next 12 to 20 pounds or your money back in the next 12 weeks, which from January 11th or 12th when you might get started, that's going to be like April time. Imagine being 20 pounds lighter in April. Or this could be just used to build healthy muscle. Simple as that. Maybe getting stronger over the next time and just feeling good. Whether you want to lose, if you can spell whether wrong there, 100 pounds or just your next five, this is here to change your life. And if it doesn't, of course, like I said, money back, which I'm going to go on to next. I know you're probably sat here thinking, maybe on the live, the Zoom, the the recording, online coaching won't work for me. Well, simply, I don't really know. I know a lot of people can think that, but it's simply just a lot of people would like people see online coaching as a completely different profession compared to, for example, like getting a mechanic to fix your car. Like you wouldn't try fix your car on your own. You would get help from somebody by paying them to help fix your car. And that's a normal thing. That's a normal thing to do. But as soon as it comes to your health and fitness, one of the three big pillars in your life, I would say health and fitness, money, and relationships are like the three biggest things in there that people wouldn't pay someone to get help with their health and fitness and possibly possibly add 10 to 20 years, good years onto their life. And like I said, if it doesn't work, then you can get your money back because I've done this for so often that I'm pretty confident in what I offer. And if it doesn't work, then game's the game, right? My metabolism is slow. It's just not. Like, if we're being completely honest, probably haven't tracked your calories correctly, or probably haven't tried a different route, and maybe stubborn in your beliefs, because that is a pretty common one. And a lot of people will say that before they get into the gym or before they kind of understand. I wouldn't say misinformed, just a lack of knowledge, which kind of discussed in this webinar. I'll wait until life comes down. Like I've said many times in this webinar, is that I mean, I did this when I was at uni. Same with Lewis. Davey worked at a nightclub until 2 a.m. There is no such thing as when life calms down. And the thing is, even if life calmed down, you came to me as a coach, and then if it peaked back up again, if you're already in the momentum of coaching, you're not going to you're not going to quit coaching when life picks up, right? That's the whole thing. Or like when you can build the habits, build the routine now, it allows you to keep consistent even when life is busy. And that's the whole point. And yeah, all of that can just be eliminated with the money back guarantee. Like I can tell you everything about it, like everything you get. But if I just sit here and say I'm that confident, you can just get your money back if it doesn't work. That's how I feel, right? So adding that on, 599 of 599 of value, um, added on to the total value, and this is going to be everything you get. Um, like I said, with the 12-meet masterclass, learn and implement the sessions, get access to features, feature courses, all the videos that I provide in terms of trainings is super important. And it's plug and play, eliminates any idea with action sheets. Pretty easy. And the problem it solves is I created this for my younger self, searching for random information. YouTube wasted loads of time and a lot of different lessons. I want you to think of this as like Netflix, but for self-improvement. I have that, what I've created here. And I'm now going to move on to the personalized training program, which is pretty decent, pretty good. And if we're being completely honest, no one really wants to spend all the time creating their own program, especially the one that they is completely personalized to them, what works the best, because it's just boring, right? It's going to take a lot of time. You're going to want to do other things yourself. It's going to probably be pretty stressful. Why would you do it when you can just have somebody else do it for you and you don't have to go through the pain? And that can literally 10x your results just like that. My screen sharing was paused for a second there. And you're probably thinking that I don't know how to do any exercises. I'm scared to go to the gym, or I'm not sure if I have enough time. If you don't know how to do any exercises, every single thing on the app, you can see videos of how to do the exercises. You can ask me to get your exercises changed. You can also ask me any questions in terms of how you can simplify it, or if there's an exercise you don't like or want to be changed, like I said, just message me. I can get changed within 24 hours. If you're scared to go to the gym, you can start working out at home to build confidence. In terms of knowing what to do, it's almost like driving, right? If you are scared to start driving, you would not go on the highway and just start going 70, 80 miles per hour. You would start off in your back garden, not your back garden, your backyard. That's very American. You would start off in your driveway just going 10, 20. And that's what we would do. We would start off going 10, 20 miles per hour. Even that's a little bit fast. But we would ease you into it. We'd teach the principles and then allow you to almost spread your wings like a butterfly after. And if you're not sure you have enough time, you can do 20 to 30-minute workouts 2 or 3 times a week, like I said with Davey, and get crazy results. So added that obviously to the bottom. The total value, that should be 897, but added on to that, that's going to be near 1,000. Let me go quickly. So we have the tailored nutrition targets. I'm kind of slamming this through now. Not knowing this costed me years progress due to unnecessary bulking to build muscle. You do not have to be super strict with eating like I was to get results. You just have to understand your body and how to work with it, which this is going to completely fast track your progress and how you can make it sustainably. And like I said, you're probably thinking, you don't like to track calories. Like I said before, I mentioned, you don't have to. You can do fasting, you can understand how your body works, you can understand how much you need to be eating during the day, and look to eat more foods that are going to keep you fuller to make it easier to stay in a deficit. Do I have to eat keto or carnivore? Absolutely not. I think it's just that is just not ideal. It's not sustainable. And if you can't do that forever, if you can't do that as a lifestyle change, I would not suggest doing a diet to lose weight, then going back to your regular diet because realistically, that's just a recipe for gaining weight again. Can I still eat my favorite foods? Of course. You're gonna have seasons where you're gonna be a little bit more locked in with your diet, shredding off food. But eating your favorite foods is a principle that I absolutely love. And I think if you cannot lose weight with incorporating your favorite foods, you're probably going to struggle to lose weight overall in your entire process. And I've never succeeded with dieting. Um, well, you probably haven't dieted the right way. That's all I'm gonna say. So, in-depth weekly training feedback, and as you can see, the value is going up. I never once tracked my progress, and it was very difficult, but with this, you are reminded to check in once a week, and this also ensures whatever goal you have, you are making your way towards that goal. Simple as that with a weekly check-in. In other words, whatever goal we discuss, the time frame, we work backwards to ensure that you're on track once a week. How do you check in? Simply on the app every single Monday for a lot of clients, but you can choose whatever day you want. You're going to fill out a short, tiny form that's going to give me all the feedback I need to know to show you that you're on track. And I can also give you personalized feedback of what you need to achieve in the next week. How would the feedback help me? Of course, it's personalized to you, and it's also going to be weekly. So it's very digestible, very easy to understand, and it's going to be very small baby steps for you. And you're not technical. I mean, it's very, very easy. The app is super easy to use. You just open it, and it's just a short form. Like it's very easy to fill out a short form, and you can do it on your phone, your laptop, wherever it is. You do not need to be very technical for it. You also get community to access to events. This is going to be very brief as well. Um, if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. I value community, and in 2026, I'm going to be doing a lot of in-person events, whether it's photo shoots, masterminds, kind of stuff like this, but in person. Because learning from somebody who's ahead will always be scary. However, being in a group allows you to relate to like-minded individuals. For the people on the call, I'm maybe not as relatable to somebody who's maybe starting off at the same point. However, you get to have that same group of people because events bring people together. You don't have to be a part of the community, of course. However, I think people need to be warmed up to it. What type of events are coming up? I did just explain it. Maybe like a photo shoot, mastermind, even just something as simple as like going bowling. And that can be in Dundee, Glasgow, all across the UK, maybe even Europe as well. And how is it worth it? Just because the events will all be paid for. Other than you, all you have to do is get a ticket for a set price. And well, actually, no. If you are in the coaching masterclass, it'll be all paid for. The only thing you need to pay for is like travel and obviously expenses of like where you're staying. But oh, the actual event would be I've gone off the screen here. The actual event will be all paid for by me just because. No, I'm a nice guy, but I want to do more events like that. And out of that, of course, access to the community app. I've spelled access wrong, which I've kind of already gone through. Other coaches give you a Google Sheet, tons of random stuff, does not matter. It just saves you the pain of confusion of not knowing what to do. It makes it easy to track workouts, nutrition, course information. When stuff is easy, it makes you want to do it more. And that's simple. And like we've kind of already gone through, not technical, it's complicated. Like it's not. Google Sheets are more complicated because there's loads of different columns. This is just giving everything you need and nothing you don't. That's the thing. And then finally, we have daily habit tracker. And you can probably see this number is looking a bit scary. 2,343 quid. I know that is looking pretty scary. And you're probably thinking like, well, who does this guy think he is? But yeah, pretty crazy. But let me ask you this. If all the systems did was help you lose 10 to 12 pounds guaranteed of fat in the next 12 weeks, would it be worth 2,343 quid? If you could be 10 to 12 pounds lighter, have every single health marker up, more muscle mass, add 10 years onto your life, make yourself happier, more confident, would it be worth that? Or if all the systems did would give you a lifelong support system of habits and goals that you can also teach to your family and friends, would it be worth this? You can answer that for yourself. If all the coaching did was made it easier and made you never need a coach again or never struggle with fitness again, would it be worth 2,343? Well, if you said yes, good news, because I had two choices. I could do cheap group coaching, which I've thought about doing before, and that's what a lot of people do with apps. They make a really low ticket product, like £5 a month, but you are not getting the one-to-one accountability or the personalization. You are just getting a plan that has worked in the past for somebody else. How is it going to work for you? Or I could do one-to-one coaching. Like I said, I could have went as cheap as possible. The problem is that I would not have been able to stack all those things of everything you need in one different program. So I went with the second option, which requires a slightly higher investment, but it means you never need coaching again. And what would perfect health and fitness look like for you? It's quite a deep question. But yeah, as you can see, you get all of this. And luckily, like I said on the webinar, we are not going to be charging this. But instead, it's just going to be 499 for the 12 weeks. Now, this isn't any sort of scarcity tactics or anything like that. That is just the value of everything that I have in there. Of course, bundled together, I'm going to make it cheaper. However, after the webinar finishes, I will be, well, I'll give it 24 hours. I will be bumping this up by 100 quid just simply because it's January and I'm getting too busy. Like, I'm getting too many people onto. I like to keep my circle limited so I can give everybody the attention that they need, basically. Because there's a certain amount of clientele where if you get too above too much, the product, not the product, but the level of coaching declines. So I want this. I forgot to change this. Like I said, it's actually meant to be 599, but I've changed it to 499. And what I'm gonna do is in the resources, I actually don't know how to do the resources. That's what I was trying to do earlier. Presents. How does one? Because I can drop it in the Zoom actually. How can I drop the link in? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Is there a section where I can drop resources into? Because I was gonna drop the link in for you guys. Um, chat. Is there a way I can add resources? Screenshot, file, emoji. What I'll do is I can put the link in the Zoom chat, and that will be. I'll go on lead pages and I can drop it in for you guys. There we go. Um, Probably should have had this link set up for you guys before, but I'll jump back in as it's loading up. Is that I'm gonna have this as a web page, and you guys can check this out with the final 10 minutes. Just as the final couple bits are going on. I'm gonna have to quickly jump on lead pages to drop you guys a link. Where have I gone? I've kind of disappeared, but we will grab this. Do. Either way, if you have any questions, this is probably the best time to ask them as I'm currently getting this set up now. Cure, and then I'm gonna drop this into the Zoom. We'll go back into present mode. There we go. Okay. Oh wait, I've lost myself here. Minimize that. Perfect. And then we are going to go, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Chats. Drop it in the chat. Um, it's not coming up. There we go. Okay, so I'll give you that to check out now. No, how do I just everybody? Perfect. I don't know if I can pin that, but that is going to be the link to if you guys are interested in what I talk about. And also, like I said, with the money back guarantee. If you just want guaranteed results and you're sick and tired of wasting your time of not really getting the results that you feel like you can get, that link is going to be in there. Um, like I said, it's literally meant to be 599, but I've changed it to 499 because I'm feeling generous for the people on the webinar today. Um, because it's different. It's also going to be the link if you're watching the was it the replay on YouTube? It's going to be the link in the description as well. Uh, Instagram Live, you're just gonna have to suck it up because game's a game. Yeah, most coaches in December would tell you their price is going up. in the new year simply due to supply and demand, paying 2,000 for a coaching program filled with stuff you do not need. The thing is, people will have endless amounts of things in the program, and just because it's got so many different things, they will charge that much. When the things you need can, for example, be provided for much less. And I've just given you everything you need and nothing you don't, because the less stuff that you can give 100% to, the better. And since you've already invested the time, I wanted to give you a special offer just for this webinar. Like I said, click the link in the chat to go check it out. You have two choices now at the end of the webinar. Uh, is that you can leave and do nothing with the information. You could watch it back maybe in the replay with the last hour. Well, not even the last hour, last hour and a half. What will you get? Nothing. Simple as that. Or you can choose to take the leap of faith, test it out, and see if it works for you. This is the key word. Test it out. You can literally sign up, pay now, test it out within 14 days, get your money back. Because I'm that confident that what I have will be useful for you and will get you the dream result. And that's what we're here to do. Build your dream physique in 2026. Like I said, 100% money back actually. Because of tax, maybe 95%. So let's say you pay 499 today, you could probably get 485 of that quid back. Um, well, actually, no, it would be out of my own pocket because of the tax, but I would lose 15 quid. But I would happily lose 15 quid for you guys to try it out because I'm that confident that what I've done in the past and what I provide is go to get the result. And that's just it. Because I've done it for so many people that if you do not feel like I am confident what I say, if you don't feel like I have the skills or the knowledge, then you can just go on my Instagram and you can continue to read the emails or do whatever. Yeah. The real question is this, is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if it only does half the things that I claim today, it would pay for itself as soon as you realize that I'd be the last coach you ever hire. Simple as that. Like I said, final little screenshot. This is everything you get. And like I said, I value the quality of the service I work with. This is only limited to the next five people. Whether the next five people go tomorrow or the next five people go in the next week, any more my accountant will kill me. And by doing that, it allows me to get everyone onboarded within 24 hours, 48 hours, because if any more, it makes it a little bit more difficult to get people onboarded with the most attention to detail. But okay, perfecto. So here we have the last screen. We're gonna have a timer for 5 minutes as the final 5 minutes. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. What I'm gonna do, sorry, I'm just joining in, was in Aberdeen in as I was flooding away. Can I get a recap after? I can send you the replay after this. Which I'll send it over the entire hour and a half. It will be on YouTube. You can put it on in the background while you watch, but it'll probably only be up for 48 hours because of the special offer on screen. Like I said, this is actually 499. Scratch that. Let me get the pen up. How do I get that? How do I get the pen up here? Um, is this it? Here we are. Um, so we'll go 5 minutes. Ask me any questions. And like I said, you're probably thinking this isn't for you. I can tell you right now, you can buy it, and if it isn't for you, you get your money back. So there's literally that you cannot lose. And that's what I love about this. I'm putting all the risk on myself here because I'm that confident in what I do. And there we go. Let me hopefully you guys can read that. That's 499 for 12 weeks. Very simply, not into any monthly contracts, not into anything like that. Just simply getting a 12-week result. And if you do not get your result in 12 weeks, then you get your money back. See if we can put a countdown on screen. Can I uh can I grab that or is that going to be too difficult, I think. Um how do I oh, I've just completely ruined the screen. What we will do, I don't really want to go over the time. We'll do a 5 minute timer for questions. Can I like duplicate this? Copy this over. Um, that's just not work. Just, what I will do, you just go. What we'll say is just at half 7. We'll end it. But yeah, any questions? Please drop them in the Zoom chat, and I'm more than happy to answer. Um, in terms of the recap, it will be up on YouTube. Hopefully, I can get it up sometime tonight. My laptop is pretty close to dying as well. But yeah, it's been a fun ride, guys. It's been good. My laptop is literally going to die. Can I plug this in, please? That'll do. That's plugged in. Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have any questions even after the webinar as well, what you can do is go to my Instagram at Ryan McIntyre Coaching, send me a message, or on WhatsApp if you got my WhatsApp too. The only person who runs my account. I've been banned, not banned, restricted a couple times on Instagram. Because because I'm so fast at responding to people and so active in my DMs that Instagram's like, nah, not today. But yeah, ask any questions. I'm more than happy to. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are wanting to get off to an amazing start in January, I'm more than happy to get you guys onboarded tonight with this offer. Super excited if you do decide to take the leap of faith because I no longer want this to be a problem in today's world. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here. And that's why I want to share my skills. And of course, getting paid for my skills is an additional bonus. But I'm here to change the world. And you can see that from the Instagram, from the YouTube, from the TikTok. I will continuously put out free content until you decide that I am the right person to get you the results you need. And that's it. That's just who I am and how I'll be because I'm super excited for this next chapter of 2026. I'm gonna put in loads of effort, content wise, email wise, designing that page as well, making it better, explaining about who I am, what I do. But yeah, this has probably been the longest live I've ever done on Instagram. It has been absolutely insane. People have come and go like crazy. But yeah, that is currently half 7. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to jump out. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. I am fatigued now. I feel like I've gone on for ages and ages. But yeah, hopefully that gave you a little insight of what I offer. Not even just what I offer, but also the secrets that I believe in, the stuff I believe in, but also who I am, what I do. And I hope this was useful, and I hope the people watching this back also find it useful as well on the YouTubes. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. I also want to say thank you so much for turning up because it's turning up on a Sunday night for things like this. You people are gonna go the furthest. You guys are the most committed. You guys, that's why I wanted to do it on a Sunday because you find the people that are gonna be the most committed to the game, and you guys are gonna go super far in 2026, and I'm proud of you guys. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your night and have a good rest of your week starting next week. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Let me stop screen sharing. Let me stop the recording.